Hello everybody, this is Gus69, today with contest entry to Otero 85 Make Me Metal contest. Lovely daughter, sweet taste already. I will try to make this as not too length, but I'm gonna show records, mostly CDs, because my major collection is CDs. I don't have many records on vinyl from metal bands, but I used to have, and I will start with the time periods I'm gonna be talking about. First of all, it's impossible to make someone metal. I never tried, because that's not how it works. Metal can make you, but you cannot make anyone metal. It's important to know that when you are in teenager years, 12, 13, 14 years old, the music you listen in that period you will take on like till you die. You can know different types of music in your life and forget about what you listened when you were young, but somehow, someday, it will always going back to that time frame and the music and the bands you listen in. So that's why I am metal, because I started listening heavy metal music in that period, and like this one, Scorpions. This is a double live album. It's the only vinyl record I'm gonna show in this video, but it's a great example. It was released in '85. Nowadays, people does not consider them as heavy metal, because the term heavy metal changed during the decades. But they were like a hard rock band, a little bit heavy in the 70s, the end of the 70s, even in the early 80s. But then they became like a hard rock band, and with the ballads and everything. But Scorpions, to me, is a hard and heavy band, a good one. And I showed this, and I decided to pick a year from the 80s, because when you talk about heavy metal, you have to talk about that period with the new wave of British heavy metal, the early 80s, like 2-3 years, when many bands came out from that period. And 85 was the year when many styles start to popping up from the heavy metal, from the traditional heavy metal. So I have 10, actually 9 CDs plus that record from '85. I'm only talking about '85. And Otero Otero 85, you probably was born in that year. So I decided to only pick albums from that year. So I'm gonna start soft with Motley Crue. Many people will not agree with the having them on this heavy metal category, but their first two albums were pretty much heavy metal, and nowadays this is considered as glam metal. To me, it's hard rock, but they had a little bit heavy metal in there, so I decided to show this one. And different also on the glam metal, Dokken, but much more heavy than Motley Crue, but also melodic, great riffs. George Lynch, phenomenal. Great chorus. Great album, under lock and key. So these two are examples of more melodic and more accessible kind of heavy metal. Then you have more traditional, like this album, double album by Iron Maiden, one of the bands that was in the new wave of British heavy metal, of course, among others, many others, but they were one of the most successful from the bunch, and they are still today. Actually, all the bands I'm I'm gonna show are active 34 years later, so they released albums in 85 and are still active. So this is a great album. Probably you ask for 3 records to make you metal, so this has to be one of them, because if you don't like this is a live album, of course, but if you don't like anything about this album, beginning with the artwork and then with the musicianship, compositions, live energy, delivery and everything, please don't stop trying. Heavy metal is not for you. So this is one of them. I think I can put this one too on the 3. Do you wanna? So Scorpions, Iron Maiden, pretty much, and the other one I will show later. So next, in the kind of the Iron Maiden style, you can try this one, Liz Borden, Love You to Pieces. More traditional, melodic voice, good stuff, heavy metal. This one. This is the third one that I would advise you to, not to convince you, but to try out. Yngwie Malmsteen, the Swedish guitar god. This is the second album, but the first one with singer Jeff Scott Soto. The debut album has 2 songs with the same singer, but almost all the other songs were instrumental, and this one is, most of the songs are singing, has a singer. So this is a better example of a heavy metal band. And if you hear about the term neoclassical metal or symphonic power metal, things like that, this is one of the roots of this genre that was developed in Europe mainly, and became like a huge thing. But Malmsteen was one of the first one to make to bring the classical influences to heavy metal music. So this is a great album, and I will put together with this to make you the three picks for this. But I'm gonna show a few more albums from '85. Agent Steel, Skeptics, Apocalypse. This is curious because the singer was born in Brazil. Many people don't know this, but anyway, this was one of the first bands that I heard doing something that would became speed metal, the style of speed metal. Nowadays, most of the heavy metal bands have a lot of speed, so it doesn't make sense to call them speed metal anymore. They are thrash metal, power metal, things like that, but not anymore, or extreme metal, not anymore speed metal. But back then, this was one of the bands. Again, a lot of Iron Maiden influences, but very speedy. What else? Vicious Rumors, Soldiers of the Night, great album. I think this is their debut album, if I'm not mistaken. Road Racer, Release. Again, another band, US from United States, and with a sound that would become something that we call US metal or power metal from the US. So Vicious Rumors, great bands. They had problems with some of their members that died, but they are still recording, and good band, Vicious Rumors. I couldn't miss this one, Megadeth. Killing is My Business and Business is Good. First album to former Metallica guitar player Dave Mustaine. He left the band and made their own. Very raw, very not great production, but some good stuff here, and it's a album that people used to say to mention one of their best. I don't think so. I prefer other in the later, like the Rest in Peace and others. But even the last one is great. But this is also good from '85. And finally, another kind of trash. This is already trash because Metallica didn't release anything in '85. They released in '84 the Ride the Lightning, and then in '86 the Master of Puppets. So '85, I think, was no. They didn't release anything in '85, but Megadeth did. So thrash metal became like a style in the metal genre. And this one, Exodus, Bonded by Blood, is very famous too. Also the first album by them, also American band, and great stuff. Thrash metal. What is thrash? Has the kind of riffs, the style of riffing with some punk influences, all together with the traditional metal, but with velocity, speedy, became thrash metal. So that's all that I have to show, all from 85. I know that you asked for some albums to avoid. There's a lot of albums to avoid from 85 from metal, because metal, it took a long time to have metal grow, and in terms of production, composition. So there are plenty of examples of bad rev metal. Bad in the sense that was still growing, still developing. So some of those bands that release bad albums, like Venom, for instance, I think was kind of awful, some of their albums, but they were important to the scene. So there is some bands like that that helped to create styles in the future, like extreme music such as death metal, black metal, or grindcore and things like that. So heavy metal in the 80s, heavy metal was a thing that was easy to say this is heavy metal, but then was start going to melody and aggression, melody, aggression. Nowadays we have both together, and I like those kind of bands with aggression, energy, but also melodies, hooks, and things like that. So to finish this this video, Otero said to wanna know some grails. As I showed, I don't have many heavy metal records. I used to have. I'm trying to get back some of the better ones that I had in the past, but I made a list with albums that I had that I'm looking for to have again, to buy it again. So they are all good examples of okay to great albums, all from 85. I stuck with 85 in this video. So let's go. Accept, Metal Heart, heavy metal from Germany, great. Anthrax, Spreading the Disease, thrash metal band from the United States, from San Francisco, great stuff. Avenger, Prayers of Steel, Germany again, German band that became Rage. They are still kicking nowadays. Destruction, another band from Germany, Infernal Overkill. Dio, Sacred Heart. You cannot talk about heavy metal without mentioning Ronnie James Dio. Their solo career is excellent. And by the way, he was in Black Sabbath. I know you know some about Black Sabbath. We are listening a tribute, Nativity in Black. It's all this Black Sabbath songs, but it's not Black Sabbath. Okay, continuing. Exciter, Long Live the Loud, band from Canada. A mix of speedy with some thrash elements, some hard rock, but they are still kicking. What else? Gravedigger from Germany, Witch Hunter, great stuff, power metal, became a power metal band was heavy metal, and then progressively helped create this genre, power metal. Green Reaper, Fear No Evil, same thing. Sound a lot of like Iron Maiden, but great vocals, great melodies, great stuff, still kicking. Kreator from Germany. Green Reaper is from England. Kreator from Germany. Endless Pain, great stuff, first album. Leather Wolf, Endangered Species. They sound like Iron Maiden also. Great stuff. Lige Lord, Freedom's Rise. US metal become power metal too. Loudness from Japan, Thunder in the East, excellent album. Like a great mixture of they are like a very heavy Van Halen, great stuff. Omen, Warning of Danger, again from the United States, US metal becoming like a little baby power metal. Pile Driver, same thing, Metal Inquisition, Running Wild, Branded in Exile, again like Gravedigger from Germany, creating the basis for power metal. Savage Grace, Master of Disguise, speed metal like Agent Steel. Sabotage, Power of the Night, great stuff from the United States, heavy metal. They become like Malmsteen with some classical influences. They do some conceptual albums, great stuff. Stryper, Soldiers Under Command. They are the forefathers of the white metal. They put the God in the heavy metal scene. Tokyo Blades, Night of the Blades, heavy metal, such as Iron Maiden, the style. And finally, Trouble, the school. Trouble, again, like Black Sabbath. If you like Black Sabbath, you probably will like Trouble. And they are, as a Stryper, considered as white metal because of some of the lyrics, and they became like the foundation from another genre in heavy metal, which is doom metal. So 20 picks, 20 grails. Most of these them I had once in the past, in the 80s, on vinyl, and I'm looking forward to get them back to my collection. So that's my entry. I'm sorry it get a little bit lengthy, but and with a lot of examples. But Otero, you deserve. Your daughter is so so gracious, and congratulations on your 300 subscribers mark. I hope you get a little bit more metal than you are, but I'm not the person to convert anyone. I have 2 daughters myself. They are grown up. One with 25 years old, and the other one is 21 years old. So, and I never influenced them to listen to heavy metal, and one of them like heavy metal. So, and they were born in the 90s. So in the 90s, alternative metal came into the scene, grunge, and later on the new metal. So a lot of stuff that is not considered as metal to the people who grow up in the 80s listening heavy metal, but for me I consider all as heavy music. It's easier, and if you like bands such as Scorpions, Accept, or Iron Maiden, you like heavy metal, and you probably gonna like some other styles in the heavy metal. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and heavy metal is the law. Bye bye.